Hey. I am Sheri Michele, and I am here with Conversations with Pearl. I am a speaker, CEO, and founder of Sudden Success Business Solutions, and I have a book coming out soon, later this year. I help all entrepreneurs get their business life together. So for you new entrepreneurs, we help you get your business together, get your LLC, get your company in place for funding, and for you experienced entrepreneurs, we help you with growth strategies as well as leadership development so that you can grow your company. And we help you find the team members that you need in order to make that growth happen. So I am so excited to be here today, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hello, sunshine, good to see you again. Had to walk out to let you back in. Stuck in a storm of a relationship. Lost my fire. Oh, and I forgot about me for way too long. But it's rolled on. Now there ain't no shade around here. Once you leave the clouds, you're under 80. Funny how there ain't no rain or clean. Why'd it take so long to leave you in the rearview mirror? Now nobody gonna steal my sunshine or turn my blue sky gray. All I know is at the end of the day, wildflowers grow when there ain't no shade.
All right, everybody. I am so excited to be back. We are back again with another Conversations with Pearl. And you guys know I always love to bring powerful women on that have fun, just like I do, because life is about having fun and finding that space around the women that can uplift you to find that fun in your life. And so today is no exception to that as well. So remember, if you're not listening to us, you're watching us on YouTube at Conversations with Pearl, or you're catching us on all those great platforms on media with Conversations with Pearl. So I am excited today because she also has something special coming up we'll talk about later. But I'm excited because I have Sheri Michele with us, also known as Sheri Richardson. She teaches business owners how to use delegation to boost team productivity, offering a wide range of elite and premium virtual assistants to ensure that a client can focus on growing their business while the VA handles the mundane and time-consuming back-end operations. You guys understand that, right? We've been there. I can't tell you how often I do that. Sheri is also a keynote speaker, author, and avid investor, which we had some conversations earlier about before we hopped on here. She's a graduate of DeKalb Technical College with a degree in accounting and over 15 years of experience in business growth and development. You guys are in for a great treat because she's also held leadership roles in various industries such as real estate, which is really popular right now, property management, and insurance. All three of those are so high on the radar right now. Her passion is to assist community and is ingrained within hopes of helping companies build strong foundations and strong teams for maximum growth. And who doesn't need a great team behind them, right? She enjoys helping others, which I just love that somebody loves helping others gain that education, that necessary education that we need to lead to success so that we can strive to achieve, because who doesn't want to keep growing, right? She's a hardcore people person, so look out. She's able to assist leaders to build teams that fill in the voids in their companies and shortcut the route to seven figures. So she ain't going to let you get away with nothing if you're listening right now. Sheri's practical techniques save clients time and frustration. And who doesn't need to save that time and frustration while helping to achieve our goals? So she infuses high energy, humor, and a cut to the chase style motivation encouragement. So, okay, put your seatbelts on, everybody, because we're going to have some fun today. I can really feel it already. So, Sheri, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
I am so excited to be here.
Yay. So tell us, I always like to start way back, right? So when we were little, let's go way back. So, my first question I have is, like, growing up, what was life like for you? Because to get these talents, I often say that when we're born, we have these talents and tools within us, right? But we have to find them and we have to work on growing them. That's part of our self-care, our self-worth. And I also say that if we don't take those talents and develop them, you can't not only develop yourself, but you can't pay it forward to somebody, and you're paying that forward. right? So we're back in your, tell us life growing up. What was that like that led you to what you do today?
So I am a firm believer that entrepreneurs are born and entrepreneurs are made. So you have both. I'm definitely in the born category, okay? My first business was second grade candy lady, okay? My allowance went to Sam's, getting as much candy as I could for $10, which was probably one with a loan from my mom. And I would go and resell it to my classmates. So I have always been an entrepreneur. I've always been entrepreneur minded. When people would ask me, teachers always ask, hey, Timmy, what do you want to be when you grow up? Sheri, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer has always been financially independent. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that financial independence was the thing I wanted to do. And I would say it just like that, financial independence. I don't know what it means, but it sounds good. I got it from a Bruce Willis movie. A matter of fact, that's where I got the phrase from, a Bruce Willis movie. So I was a B student. I excelled in school, and then I got out of school and I got into my first actual business on accident. It was one of those legal companies when they had the flyers or the stickers everywhere. And it was like, hey, we get you, I don't remember what the name of the company was, but they basically had lawyers on tap. So I got a speeding ticket and I was looking for help with that when I was 18, and I got into it and they were like, oh, by the way, this is a business opportunity too. So I was like, word. And I've been in business off and on ever since. So I have basically all of my experience has come from some sort of failure. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Everything I know is because I failed, and then I went back and I researched, and then I found out how to do it correctly, and then I started teaching others how to do it correctly. So that has been my whole journey.
So I love that you said that because, we talk about obstacles, right? And there's always failures or things, and we can always learn from that. And I always like to say, you climb a mountain or you have a goal, you got to reach the goal. Once you get there, then what? Are you going to fall down the hill? Or what about the climb up, right? What do you want to do in the climb up? And I always say, picture that mountain walk that you're taking, and halfway up that walk, why don't you stop, take a break, have a picnic lunch, and just sit back and go, hey, this is what worked for me. This is what not working for me. And, and then from there, take those lessons learned, leave what's not working behind and keep walking, right? Keep climbing. And then the same thing happens when you get to the top. It's like, okay, you've reached that goal, then what, right? Doesn't mean you stop. What's the next goal? If you want to climb down the mountain to get to that next goal, as you learn the things you need to learn, walk down slowly. You don't have to be Jack and Jill and fall down the hill, right? So,
right.
And the same thing as you stop down. So talk to us about those obstacles as you were climbing the goals that you had and creating this entrepreneurship. And I just love that you said, that's the other thing too, that you said is you stated what you're going to be, and that's such a mindset, right? Many of us, and I was one who struggled understanding what it meant to manifest, right? To say, I may not be there, but I am, right? And so to say that you're going to be this, or I am that, I think it's so there you go. So many people, especially women, they struggle with that because, our CEO moms, they're thinking, I just got to take care of the kids when they grow up, then I'll do it for me. No, you can do both, right? So as you were going through, at this young age, you knew you wanted to be financially independent. What obstacles did you come across in getting there where you are today? And then, how's it made you who you are today?
That's a great question. So I have always been practical. Let me put that out. I've always leaned more on what's logical versus what's emotional. And that's not an average viewpoint for some people. A lot of people let their emotions get in the way. And I've had friends who just did not like the way I thought about things. I've had, even my mom is like, you know, when you're in an argument and somebody's being logical, people don't tend to like that, okay? Like, why are you making sense right now? So I've always been practical. So in every failure, I see lessons. And that's what a lot of people think is just failure. Failure is only failure if you don't learn from it. If you have to keep doing it over and over again, then yeah, you're failing. But if you fail and you scrape your knee and be like, okay, well, I shouldn't do that again. Let me find another way. Then it's not failure. You succeeded at figuring out what did not work. And it's a mindset shift. So I never looked at something as, oh man, I just failed at this. No, I found a way that did not work.
And I love you say that, because every morning, my thing I do every morning is I look in the mirror and I say to myself, I'm going to have a great day, good, bad, or indifferent. No matter what comes my way, I have a lesson to learn from that experience, you know? And it's so true. It's like a failure isn't a failure unless you don't learn from that failure, right? It is a failure if you don't learn something, go, okay, that didn't work, or this was not good for me. So here's how I need to go forward, right? It's like boundaries too. Like we talk about in self-care, as I coach women with self-care. I'm like, so what are your boundaries, you know? And once you set them, then what happens when somebody tries to cross those boundaries? What do you got in place? What steps you have to take care of that person who's trying to intrude in that boundary? You know, it's so important. And, you know, and I've learned that lesson along the way. I've had people in my life, you know, I talk often when I speak on stage about a good friend of mine. Her name is Shannon Carlton, and she really, you know, called me out. I did a course. It was a 6-week identification course, and I had identified who I was. And at the end of 6 weeks, I was still saying I was a mom and I was a wife. I was everything but Pearl. And she called me out. She's like, so where's Pearl? Who's Pearl? And I was like, oh, I just did this course for 6 weeks and I haven't figured that crap out. You know, what the heck am I doing? You know, so I had to go through and really do some more reflection on that. So she was, you know, I always love to give her credit. She really set me up to be like, okay. And I was in my 40s when that happened. So it's like, okay, what, you know, I got a lot of time left. What the heck am I doing? Who am I? Right. So share with us, like, who inspired you? Who was like that person that you're like, wow, you know, thank you so much. Because some of those words, some of those actions really changed my life.
My first major business coach was Danny Johnson. That was my first major where I really was like, okay, I'm doing this. And that was around the time I was 25, maybe 24. But I went to a job and I was in my 20s, I was trying new things and, you know, going in different, seeing what fit me. And so I started at this company and it was like vacuum sales, I think it was. And the entrepreneur, the person who owned the company she was a people person as well, but she had studied personalities. So based on our conversation, she kind of figured out which personality I was. And she basically talked me out of my rent money to go to this conference like that weekend in like 3 sentences. It was amazing. So I was like, okay, she just did that. I need to learn whatever she just did. Like I recognized it, but I still went with it. And I went to the conference and I was surrounded by entrepreneurs on all levels for 3 days. And it really made me understand why conferences are important. And as I've gone to several conferences throughout the years, my thought process on conferences have changed. When I was going in my 20s and to my early 30s, it was, I'm going to learn. I'm really going to learn. I want to get this knowledge in. Now that I've kind of found my zone and I've kind of found where my happy spot is as far as business is concerned, do I still go for the information? Absolutely. But now when I go to conferences, it's more so for the networking. So my what I go for has changed because I have a lot of the knowledge that the presenters are giving, but I don't have the people that they have in their network. And going to these conferences, I've met some of the most amazing people. I've been able to up my circle drastically just by going and networking with within conferences. So Sheroes, my fellow Sheroes, if you do not go to conferences, please do, because it is an experience that is unmatched. It's unmatched. And you have an event coming up in September, don't you?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I love that you mentioned conferences, because that's, I too love going to conferences. I love going and learning. And, I remember bringing a friend to a conference back in December, and he had never been to anything before of this kind. And I didn't prepare him that, hey, when you go to these conferences, you're going to learn a lot, but you're also going to get sold to a lot. So just go in there with, I want to learn. And then when that person touches you, there's like, oh, I want to learn more from that person. Then that's who you want to go connect with, and maybe connect with some sort of, program or whatever like that, So those that are listening, when you go to these conferences, go in knowing, the goal is to show you what they're doing, and they're going to have an opportunity for you to work with them. But go in there going with what your goal is, and then say, oh, that one, Sheri's virtual assistant, oh, she touches me. I want to learn more from her, and then make that time to sit down with that person, and if you need to have accountability person that goes with you, be like, don't let me do this until I do this, But yeah, that's why I started doing like brunches. I would have just a weekend brunch, and, we'd all get together on a Friday or Saturday, whatever it was. And we'd have speakers come in. And I had a speaker who said to me, Pearl, this is really powerful. You should do more with this. You should do like a pajama retreat. I was like, oh. So we started out just doing it at a hotel where you came and stayed. But I wanted to be more intimate, because I've been to many conferences, like you said, and it's a lot for entrepreneurs and, all that stuff. But I wanted to talk to that entrepreneur that's also trying to balance, being a CEO mom, is a professional while trying to start an entrepreneurship, or just that CEO mom that doesn't want to do nothing else but run her house. But I wanted women, and that's who we really target is. I wanted them to understand that, self-care is important. And like we said earlier in the show, you have talents and tools. And if you're not doing something with that, you're being selfish to yourself, but you're also cheating the family that you're taking care of, your friends, or whatever that is you're working on. And, oftentimes you hear, well, it's selfish to go do something for yourself. No, it's selfish if you don't do something for yourself, because if you don't pour into your cup, you can't go be a great entrepreneur. You can't be a great CEO mom. You can't do those things you want to do gratefully, and that's what's so important. And so that's why we started our retreat. So, which is in September. It's the pajama retreat. You and I were talking about this earlier, where it's really just disconnecting from everything else and reconnecting with others, right? And reconnecting with yourself, rather. And so there's like 20 women in the room total. We keep it small. And it's just about no makeup, put your pajamas on, and let's really figure out what is that roadmap that you want to create for yourself. And when you leave, you have that roadmap set out, your first steps to do next. And, I think it's so, so important. And so, which leads me to my next question for you is like, as you created your business, like, tell us the roadmap when somebody comes to work with you. And, I literally, you and I need to have more conversations, because virtual assistant is something that's been coming up for me, as I journal lately with some of the things I have going on. And, oftentimes my business coach tells me this all the time, Julie DeLuca Collins, love her to death. She says to us, figure out what your hourly rate is that you charge people. And if there's those things that you're doing that you could pay somebody a lot less money than what you're paying yourself, you need to hire a virtual assistant, right? I mean, if I'm worth $350 an hour, let's say, right? And I'm doing a job that I could probably hire somebody for $15 to $20 an hour, why am I doing it? Right? So,
why?
Right. So you've created that. So kind of walk us through how you help entrepreneurs with that.
So I'm glad you brought all this up, because there's a woman out here that I'm talking to directly. Stop. You are killing yourself. Okay? You're killing yourself. And I have an agency. We help entrepreneurs find their teammates. So we do VA matching. And based on what your company's needs are, we'll go find the virtual assistant that can help you build and grow. And we help find multiple virtual assistants. I have some clients who have 5, 6, 7 of them. And so what I have found is that women really treat their businesses like they treat their babies. Like they hold on to them and suffocate them really because they don't want to let go of control. Let go of control. You cannot be everything your business needs. And when I say that, this is what, when you say I'm a solopreneur, this is what I hear. I'm a CEO, I'm a CFO, I'm a customer service, I'm janitor, I'm accounts receivable, I'm accounting, I'm loss prevention, I'm stocking, I'm tech support, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing I'm, and this is just your business. This has not even started. I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, ma'am, you don't sleep. You probably don't shower a couple of days a week. Okay? Like you are burnt out and it's not okay. It's a better way. And yes, you are giving up control. But let me ask you a question. And Pearl, I'm going to ask you this question. When was the last time you saw a Walton in Walmart?
Last time I did what?
When you shop at Walmart, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. The last time you went to Walmart, did you see a Walton as a cashier?
No.
Did you see them stocking shelves?
No.
Did you see them in the manager's office?
No.
But they're billionaires and they're not at their own company.
Right. Yeah, it's so true.
They delegate that out because they have better things to do. So just like she was just saying, if your hourly wage is $300, why are you cleaning your own house? People do that for $200 for the whole thing. Why are you? I delegate everything. I delegate it. Like I sleep 6 hours regularly. Okay. And for a CEO, that's unheard of. But I literally sleep because I delegate my travel, my cleaning, my cooking, anything that is going to cost me less money to have somebody else do it. I'm delegating it out because that gives me more time to work on my business. Be clear about the things that I want to work on. You can't. One of the things I tell everybody as a CEO, you have 3 main duties to your company. Number 1, you're the visionary. How are you going to be able to think of all of the magical things that you need to share with the world? And you have mopping and auditing and I need to make sure this is working right. And oh my gosh, my email went down and I have to call this person back. How are you going to come up with the ideas to grow your company with all of that in your head?
And it's so powerful too, because, when you think about it, it's like you said, you do all that stuff before you even get to do what you love to do. Why you start your entrepreneurship as you started out, right? It's so true. And like you said, we don't see the owners of the Targets and the Walmarts of the world. They're not in there working. They're delegating, like you said, and it's so powerful. And the thing too is like if you are that CEO mom that's either working professionally and or trying to be an entrepreneur, why are you not delegating even at home, right? Like that's the other thing too that I love helping women with. It's like, why are you not delegating? There's things you can delegate at home. Finding somebody to clean the house, or you know what? There's littles that live in that house with you. They're all little CEO minions walking around. So delegate, I just love that. And it's so, so important. And, I always love to share the story of my sister-in-law, Melissa, where when I was visiting her, my nephew, I think he was 4 years old. He's up in his room, folding his clothes, putting him in the bottom dresser drawer. They're not perfect, but she's like, listen, he's part of this household. I don't have to do for him. They need to learn. So it goes back even to our business, right? You don't have to do all those janitor, all those things you described because you're worth more money than that, and it's not to belittle what they do. There's a pay scale for everybody's entry level of what they're doing for you. So pay them to do those things because when you do, you can pour more into your business, into your clients, into the growth of what you want to get to. And I just love that you match them up. So I think it's just powerful. So talk to me about matching. Like, what does that look like? What does a client walk through when they're trying to be matched?
So, and I definitely will explain that, but I also want to point out that when you delegate, a lot of us started businesses to help, right? We want to help people be better. We want to help people grow, right? Or we have something to share with the world to make that person better. Have you ever, like, the possibility of helping somebody by being their employer? You know how magical it is to be able to say that because of the decisions that you make and because you started this company, somebody's family is able to eat?
I love that, because that also goes to what I say about saying no to others, and it's the same thought process, because when you say yes too often, you're saying no to yourself, right? And then if you say yes to something that Sheree, you don't want to do, then you're cheating the person who's been sitting in the background waiting to do that thing that you're saying yes to, that I don't want to do that. So when you say no, that person gets to do it. So I love that analogy you shared too, that, hey, you're employing somebody and helping somebody's family. I think that's so all the listeners are out there. If you're sitting there going, I can never afford a VA, or I can never do that, you need to really go to the links we're going to post and everything for Sheri and have a conversation with her, because I'm telling you, once you do it, and I've done it before. I've had an assistant before. Years ago when I was a mortgage broker, I had an assistant. She took care of, I get the app, I just handed it to her. And guess what I was doing? I was doing my job better than I was trying to balance everything. You show up better in your family, you show up better in your business. You're showing up, not going, okay, I'm talking to Sheri, but I got to do You got the index of everything I got to get done. No, now you're talking to Sheri going, I'm having a great conversation. All my team is doing what has to be done, and it's under control, right?
It's
and you can
under
take a
control.
Friday off.
I take so much time off for myself. Like, if I need to break away, I break away, because I now have the ability to do that. In December, I had pneumonia. I was down for 2 weeks. I still made $10,000 in December.
Awesome.
2 weeks. So for the people who money is your motivator, if you hire, you can walk away and still make money.
Yeah, because that's a great point. Like, if you're an entrepreneur and you get sick, who's doing everything? I mean, I had COVID last year. For 2 weeks, I was down. If I didn't have help, I was out, So yeah, that's so powerful. So tell us how you do the matching up. Like, walk us through, how are you matched up?
So the first thing that I tell all of my entrepreneurs to do, the first step of hiring is figuring out what you need to hire for. So all of my clients do a massive brain dump. That's their step one. They put down everything they want to do and everything they need to do in their company. And then I tell them to pick the task they hate the most, and that's the first one we're giving away. For me, that was the phone. I love people calling. I don't want to talk to them, though. And it's not the fact of people calling. It's the fact that I have to be tied to the phone. I have to have that phone right there to be able to receive those calls. So I hired customer service. Now I don't answer phone calls for my business. I have customer service for that. That freed up my whole life. Like, that was freedom for me. And so the first thing you need to do is figure out what tasks you hate the most, or what tasks you just really don't know how to do. And that's the first one you hand off. So when you come to our matching service, and the website is www.helpmefindava.com, you'll fill out this little form that says, hey, I'm interested in a VA. Then we'll send you a survey, and it's going to be like, what are you looking for? Who are you looking for? And you'll give us some information on what your company does, what kind of teammates you're looking for, and really give us a general idea. Then we will have a call with you, because we want to ensure that we understood. It's not so much of what you put down, but to make sure that we understand what you are really saying. And what I have found is that call is important, because people will put one thing on the paper, and then when we have that conversation, they're like, oh yeah, I do need that, huh? So once we do that, once we have that conversation, then we actually go out and scout those people for you. And it typically takes us 5 to 7 days, business days, because we actually have them go through a very extensive interview process where they have multiple emails, multiple interviews, and they have to do test tasks to make sure that they actually have the skill set that they're telling us they have. And then we set up interviews for that client, and they get 2 to 3 VAs to interview and then choose the one that best fits their business model.
So I love that. So let's talk about the VAs for a second, because I don't know if you've heard of Becky Duncan, but she is an amazing, she's from Australia, and she had VA before, and she didn't have a great experience. And I've heard this before. So when it comes to VAs, like, are they here? Are they out of the country? Are they a little bit of both? And then, like, what kind of accountability do the VAs have to getting the work done?
So that's all great questions. It's just like any other type of employment. So a lot of people think that they have bad experiences because it's just like, oh, they're bad. But you have to look at yourself as a corporation. As a CEO, you're running a business. And with any business, is every employee going to be great? No. You're looking for employees. So did you do your part in making sure that that person was successful? And it's a leadership thing. A lot of people want to hire virtual assistants and then just hand their business over. You can't do that. If you were to go into a job right now and say, hey, I want a job, and they'd be like, hey, yeah, here's a stack of what we need you to do. We'll see you later. Are you going to be successful?
And I love that you say that too. So one of the things, so let me ask you this process, because people are going to listen back and, bring this together. So what Becky's situation was, so let me ask you this: when it comes time to let a virtual assistant go, like what processes are in place? Because her story is really great about the bullying of social media through a virtual assistant and what happened when time to let this person go. So when it comes time that you say, you know what, you're not working out any longer for whatever the client, for your business, whatever it is, like what is, I guess my question is, what are some of the security processes you have in place? Because oftentimes I hear my clients when I coach them, I say, you need to get a VA. Yeah, but they have access to my personal stuff, and they have access to this, how do I get it back? Like my social media, because some people hire for social media, right? So they have to get into their social media, right? So what are some of the things that you guys put in place for that protection for an entrepreneur?
2 words: last pass. Last pass. My favorite saying is control everything on nothing. I don't do any of the work in my company. This is my work. This is my lane. Showing up, doing interviews, going to networking events, being in people's faces. Okay, that's what I like to do.
I love it.
I like connecting. So this is my lane. This is what part of my business I work. Everything else, somebody else's work. But I control everything. So LastPass is a company where you can actually put in all of the passwords for every single solitary account that you let your VA have access to. And when you terminate them, you just terminate the access to LastPass and they lose all access.
I love that. I've never heard of it before. So I just learned a lesson too. That's awesome. I love that you put that in place. So I mean, and I can't believe how much time has passed, but this is so powerful. So to the listeners who are listening, if you, like Sheri said, if you're playing the janitor role, if you're playing the admin role, if you're playing an answer phone role that you should be playing and not having conversations to grow your business, this is the time you need to sit back and do the brain dump, like she said, about what do I need to release that's holding me back to my success, and then reach out to Sheri, because it's really, really important for your growth and your business and to be able to move forward to the goals you want to achieve. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't help the people that you want to help. You cannot make the money that you want to make. And I say that from a place of, I was working from literally 5 a.m. to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week when I finally hired. So I'm not telling you things that I have not done. I was starting to resent my business. Mm-hmm. So I really want to put in emphasis on, I'm not telling you something that I did not go through. But 6 months after I hired my first virtual assistant, my company hit 6 figures.
Way to go, my girl. That's awesome.
So you are overworking yourself. You are underpaying yourself, and you are burnt out because you don't want to let go. Virtual assistants are there to take care of the tasks that you don't need to be doing. Does it matter? And I know we closing up, but I gotta share this. If your favorite thing to say is, well, what if they can't do it like me? I gotta do it. They what if they're not me? Two things. Number one, what if they do it better than you? Have you ever asked yourself that? And number two, what leader are you that they can't do it like you? How did you train them to where they're not doing it like you?
Those are powerful questions. Very powerful. I mean, literally, what if somebody does it better than you? I just love that one right there. I mean, wow, 6 figures sounds better than me, Hello. I just love that. Okay, so I'm gonna move us here to you personally. So you're a busy entrepreneur. You've got great, virtual assistant. You got this great business going. I want to know, what does Sheri do to disconnect from all of that and reconnect to herself? And I'm going to tell you guys a shout out. Her birthday is this weekend. So happy birthday to you, my girl. And she's already told me some of the things she's doing. So share with us like some of the things that you do when you disconnect to take care of your self-care.
So I am huge on self-care. I actually have a self-care board. Like, I'm gonna show it to you because it's right. I just have to turn my thing around. This is my self-care board. So I have 11 things that I want to do every day. And I know you probably can't see it that well, but I have 11 things listed on there, like working out, get dressed, smell good, things of that nature. And as I do those things every day, I check them off because that makes me feel good. So now that I've gotten all dolled up today, I can say I look good today. So that's self-care. I turn my phone off. I have people hours. So if it's past my people hours or if it's before my people hours, I'm not picking up the phone. I'm just not. And my friends and family know this. So people hours are very, very important. Before 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I'm not answering nothing. You literally have to be on fire for me to answer the phone. And I have a separate phone strictly for my friends and family. So I have my business phone, which is the one that we're doing the presentation on now. And everybody and their mama, sister, cousin, brother have some variation of this number. My personal phone, 10 to 12 people have that number. That one stays on, this one goes off.
I love it. First of all, okay, ladies, stop and write this down. A self-care board. I mean, I wrote that down. I don't know if Sheri saw me writing what she was saying it. A self-care board. I'm like, who doesn't need a self-care board, right? It's in your face. It's like right there. I think that's so powerful. And then, to have people hours. I love people hours. I love that you said that because it is important to like disconnect. That's part of self-care, is disconnecting from the phone, from the TV, from everything else, so you can reconnect with those that you want to spend some time with, yourself, whatever that is. I often say self-care is not a bubble bath. Yes, you can take a bubble bath. You should be getting clean every day, so you should give yourself a bubble bath every day. But it's sometimes if that's all you can get in. I get it. It's a bubble bath. However, oftentimes, especially the women I work with, we put so much guilt on ourselves. We have to balance everything, right? And they'll go, but my kids think I'm being guilt. I'm not paying attention. Or my husband thinks I'm not getting. Stop. If you start communicating, hey, I'm going to go do this, especially if you're not doing it now, just sit down with your family and be like, listen, I really am getting overwhelmed. And so I need to start doing some things for myself. So I'm going to go and sit I have a front porch swing. I'm going to go sit in a swing and just sit out there and enjoy the noise, cars, birds, whatever is around me. Or, it could be something like, I'm going to go on a staycation once a quarter. That's what I do. Once a quarter. I mean, I live in Florida, so the beaches are right here. I get a hotel room overnight, sometimes 2 nights, and I'm in my pajamas the entire weekend. Hence why I like PJ retreats. And I don't do nothing. I usually make sure the hotel has a breakfast free in the morning, and I bring my own drink there. I mean, so it can be a simple
whatever that. Yeah.
Right.
Even sitting in the car.
Exactly.
Go sit in the car. And if you have a house, literally pull your car out of the garage, because they still have access to you in the garage, and go sit on the street. Just go 2 neighbors up.
Yeah.
So they actually have to work to find you. But go sit in the car for 20 minutes. Like, self-care is what you need to put yourself back together. So, and what you need to feel good. And I journal. I showed you my journal. I put the woman that I want Sheri Michele to be. So what she's like, what her talents are. And so my self-care board is part of what are the steps that I need to do to show up as her. So I want to be fine in my clothes. So that means I need to work out. So workout is on self-care. I want to be healthy. So that means I need to take vitamins. The vitamins and water are on my board. I need to decompress. So I have 30 minutes in the sauna, reading a book. You know what I'm saying? Even sitting down and just doing nothing and vegging through TikTok or Facebook, that can be your self-care. If Snap is your show, girl, do a Snap marathon and let that be your self-care. Like, do you?
And what I think is important too is, so for those CEO moms at home going, but my kids, I'm like, you can do self-care watching a silly show. I mean, I'm going to age myself. My kids watch Barney. I could sit down and watch a Barney episode and not do nothing, but I was spending time with them and taking care of some quiet time for me. Or as I got older, I have 2 boys. I'm a boy mom. So as I got older, my oldest played football. So you know what I did? He had terrible football feet. So I was like, come on, I'm going to get a manicure, pedicure. Come with me. I'll pay for your pedicure. And we would sit there and have conversations. So what was I doing? I was doing self-care for me, and I was spending time with my family. So there's
and
ways
you can
to balance
schedule time with your family. Like, schedule date nights with your kids. If you do a date night once or a date day or a date hour, like, hey, today is Tyler's day. So me and Tyler are going to go do dinner. And then tomorrow, me and Judy are going to go do dinner. Or we'll go get our toes painted or something. Actually schedule that time out so that each kid gets what they need, and you have that scheduled. And then you can put everybody on a schedule.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I had a friend in Virginia, and he did this when his kids were baby. He did every once a week before like going to work. He would bring one of the kids to breakfast. So, they'd go to daycare or whatever, or they went back home to mom if mom wasn't working. But he'd take them out for breakfast with him. He's like, even when they were babies, they couldn't talk to me, but I was engaging in them at one-on-one time. And as I got older, even right when they went off to college, the same day every week, and he had 2, I think, so a Wednesday and Thursday, he did something with one of his kids. And so that's so important, Sheri, to share that too. So I just, this has been so much fun. And, all of you guys listening, first of all, if you're not getting a VA, you really need to reach out to Sheri, and we'll put all the links there for you. And if you're listening to us and your self-care is, you're struggling with that, just reach out to me, because I love to help you with that. And I think just there's some few different things you can do, and you can go online. I have a ultimate guide to self-care. It's at pearlsebook.com. That's pearlsebook.com, and learn more there. But, Sheri, this has been so much fun. What I want to ask you is there a mantra or a quote that you love that you remind yourself about?
So, control everything and own nothing is definitely one of my big ones. But also, stay in your CEO lane. Stay in your CEO lane. If it ain't in that lane, give it away.
Absolutely.
Delegate.
I think it's so powerful. This has been so much fun. All right. So you guys all know, if you've been listening to the show, and if you're new, welcome. But one of the things we do on Conversations with Pearl is we have these, and I get paid nothing for it. My friend Carol Gill has created this. She's an amazing person. They're called Better Questions, Better Life. They're a stack of cards. Every morning I'll pull one out and I'll journal on, or I'll just meditate on something. So Sheri already knows. I'm going to shuffle them. She's going to tell me when to stop, and then we're going to ask her what the question says. So here we go, Sheri. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. So Sheri, your question is, I think we've talked about this some today, but what principles do you live by?
Happiness, my form of happiness every day. So I tell people happiness is a state of being. So am I happy all day, every day? No. But my goal is to be happy in every day.
And I love that. My son, my oldest one, he'll ask me, I have two great boys. One was born of my heart. One came through the help of doctors with infertility. So I've had a great journey of becoming a mom. You know, it was a 10-year journey before our son was born of our heart. And he'll always say to me, Mom, no matter what's thrown at you, good, bad, or different, you're always smiling. And I'm like, is there anything different? Like, I don't know how to not smile, you know, and yeah, life's going to suck some days. I mean, you know, but here's the deal. You can choose to let it bring you down, or you can choose to say buffalo, which is my word. I'll go buffalo, and it stops that negative thinking and I move on, right? And just release what's holding me back. And I just love that happiness. That's like almost, that's kind of my jam as well. So happiness. I love that you shared that today. So before we go, tell everybody where they can find you. And I know you mentioned you have a new book coming up too.
Yes. It'll be later this year because I definitely want to work on some of my classes. So I'll be hosting classes about insurance this summer, how to use your job to fund your business, and just how to really work with those virtual assistants to get the best quality work out from them. But my team has me everywhere. You see how I said that? So you can find me on Facebook. I'm Sheri Richardson. And then we have my Sheri Michele page, which is my business page. You can find me on IG, Clubhouse, and TikTok at I am Sheri Michele. And that's with one L in Michelle. And then on, who did I forget? IG, TikTok, LinkedIn, Sheri Michele.
I love it. It's so much fun talking to women who get about, you know, releasing things you can't control, putting self-care in there. And it's been so much fun having you on today. And, you know, as we close out, I want to remind all the listeners out there, we do have our pajama retreat. It is September 15th to September 19th. Everything is included except your transportation to the Gulf Shores of Alabama. We are literally in a beach house across the street from the ocean. We will have yoga. We will have massage available. We will have many photo shoots on the beach. We will have some amazing time meeting other amazing women, all while you're hanging in your pajamas and no makeup. And we will have some powerful, powerful speakers that are going to help you learn to set your roadmap to experience the journey of your possibilities that you have just waiting for you. You just have to look for it. And remember, I always say we come into this world in this little rough oyster, but as you open up inside, there's this amazing pearl inside. So I am Pearl, but I want you to go find your inner pearl of greatness. Have a great day.
And Pearl is my birthstone.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I love it. All right, everybody, have a great day.